Welcome to Slothful Slumber, the podcast where we transform the vast knowledge of the internet into a gentle lullaby for your mind. I'm your host, Luna Dreamwell, and I'm here to guide you on a journey to tranquility through the soothing cadence of Wikipedia articles. Each episode will delve into the most wonderfully mundane and sleep-inducing topics, helping you drift off into a realm of serene dreams. So find your comfortable space, close your eyes, and let the dull hum of information carry you into a restful slumber. Now, let's embark on tonight's voyage of tranquil learning as we explore a topic so peacefully uneventful it just might whisk you away to the land of dreams. This Wikipedia article is titled The Arts. The arts are a very wide range of human practices of creative expression, storytelling, and cultural participation. They encompass multiple, diverse, and plural modes of thinking, doing, and being in an extremely broad range of media. Both highly dynamic and a characteristically constant feature of human life, they have developed into innovative, stylized, and sometimes intricate forms. This is often achieved through sustained and deliberate study, training, and/or theorizing within a particular tradition, across generations and even between civilizations. The arts are a vehicle through which human beings cultivate distinct social, cultural, and individual identities, while transmitting values, impressions, judgments, ideas, visions, spiritual meanings, patterns of life, and experiences across time and space. Prominent examples of the arts include visual arts, including architecture, ceramics, drawing, filmmaking, painting, photography, and sculpting. Literary arts, including fiction, drama, poetry, and prose. Performing arts, including dance, music, and theater. They can employ skill and imagination to produce objects, performances, convey insights and experiences, and construct new environments and spaces. The arts can refer to common, popular, or everyday practices, as well as more sophisticated and systematic or institutionalized ones. They can be discrete and self-contained, or combine and interweave with other art forms, such as the combination of artwork with the written word in comics. They can also develop or contribute to some particular aspect of a more complex art form, as in cinematography. By definition, the arts themselves are open to being continually redefined. The practice of modern art, for example, is a testament to the shifting boundaries, improvisation and experimentation, reflexive nature, and self-criticism or questioning that art and its conditions of production, reception, and possibility can undergo. As both a means of developing capacities of attention and sensitivity, and as ends in themselves, the arts can simultaneously be a form of response to the world, and a way that our responses and what we deem worthwhile goals or pursuits are transformed. From prehistoric cave paintings to ancient and contemporary forms of ritual to modern-day films, art has served to register, embody, and preserve our ever-shifting relationships to each other and to the world. Definition. Merriam-Webster defines the arts as painting, sculpture, music, theater, literature, etc., considered as a group of activities done by people with skill and imagination. While the art refers to the way of doing, or the application of human creative skill, typically in visual form. The arts are the various practices formed of human creativity and imagination. History and classifications. In ancient Greece, all art and craft was referred to by the same word, techne. Thus, there was no distinction among the arts. Ancient Greek art brought the veneration of the animal form and the development of equivalent skills to show musculature, poise, beauty, and anatomically correct proportions. Ancient Roman art depicted gods as idealized humans, shown with characteristic distinguishing features, for example, Zeus's thunderbolt. In Byzantine and Gothic art of the Middle Ages, the dominance of the Church insisted on the expression of biblical truths. Eastern art has generally worked in a style akin to Western medieval art, namely a concentration on surface patterning and local color, meaning the plain color of an object, such as basic red for a red robe, rather than the modulations of that color brought about by light, shade, and reflection. A characteristic of this style is that the local color is often defined by an outline. A contemporary equivalent is the cartoon. This is evident, for example, the art of India, Tibet, and Japan. Religious Islamic art forbids iconography and instead expresses religious ideas through calligraphy and geometrical designs. Classifications. In the Middle Ages, the artes liberales, liberal arts, were taught in European universities as part of the trivium, an introductory curriculum involving grammar, rhetoric, and logic, and of the quadrivium, a curriculum involving the mathematical arts of arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy. The artes mechanicae, consisting of vestiaria, tailoring and weaving, agricultura, agriculture, architectura, architecture and masonry, militia and venatoria, warfare, hunting, military education, and the martial arts, mercatura, trade, coquinaria, cooking, and metalleria, blacksmithing and metallurgy, were practiced and developed in guild environments. The modern distinction between artistic and non-artistic skills did not develop until the Renaissance. In modern academia, the arts are usually grouped with or as a subset of the humanities. Some subjects in the humanities are history, linguistics, literature, theology, philosophy, and logic. The arts have also been classified as 7: painting, architecture, sculpture, literature, music, performing, and cinema. Some view literature, painting, sculpture, and music as the main 4 arts, of which the others are derivative. Drama is literature with acting, dance is music expressed through motion, and song is music with literature and voice. Film is sometimes called the 8th, and comics the 9th art. Visual arts, architecture. Architecture is the art and science of designing buildings and structures. The word architecture comes from the Greek architekton, master builder, director of works, from archi-chief plus tekton, builder, carpenter. A wider definition would include the design of the built environment, from the macro level of town planning, urban design, and landscape architecture to the micro level of creating furniture. Architectural design usually must address both feasibility and cost for the builder, as well as function and aesthetics for the user. In modern usage, architecture is the art and discipline of creating or inferring an implied or apparent plan of a complex object or system. The term can be used to connote the implied architecture of abstract things, such as music or mathematics, the apparent architecture of natural things, such as geological formations, or the structure of biological cells, or explicitly planned architectures of human-made things, such as software, computers, enterprises, and databases, in addition to buildings. In every usage, an architecture may be seen as a subjective mapping from a human perspective, that of the user in the case of abstract or physical artifacts, to the elements or components of some kind of structure or system which preserves the relationships among the elements or components. Planned architecture manipulates space, volume, texture, light, shadow, or abstract elements in order to achieve pleasing aesthetics. This distinguishes it from applied science or engineering, which usually concentrate more on the functional and feasibility aspects of the design of constructions or structures. In the field of building architecture, the skills demanded of an architect range from the more complex, such as for a hospital or a stadium, to the apparently simpler, such as planning residential houses. Many architectural works may be seen also as cultural and political symbols or works of art. The role of the architect, though changing, has been central to the successful, and sometimes less than successful, design and implementation of pleasingly built environments in which people live. Ceramics. Ceramic art is art made from ceramic materials, including clay, which may take forms such as pottery, tile, figurines, sculpture, and tableware. While some ceramic products are considered fine art, some are considered to be decorative, industrial, or applied art objects. Ceramics may also be considered artifacts in archaeology. Ceramic art can be made by one person or by a group of people. In a pottery or ceramic factory, a group of people design, manufacture, and decorate the pottery. Products from a pottery are sometimes referred to as art pottery. In a one-person pottery studio, ceramists or potters produce studio pottery. In modern ceramic engineering usage, ceramics is the art and science of making objects from inorganic, non-metallic materials by the action of heat. It excludes glass and mosaic made from glass tesserae. Conceptual art. Conceptual art is art wherein the concepts or ideas involved in the work take precedence over traditional aesthetic and material concerns. The inception of the term in the 1960s referred to a strict and focused practice of idea-based art that often defied traditional visual criteria associated with the visual arts in its presentation as text. Through its association with the Young British Artists and the Turner Prize during the 1990s, its popular usage, particularly in the United Kingdom, developed as a synonym for all contemporary art that does not practice the traditional skills of painting and sculpture. Drawing. Drawing is a means of making an image, using any of a wide variety of tools and techniques. It generally involves making marks on a surface by applying pressure from a tool or moving a tool across a surface. Common tools are graphite pencils, pen and ink, inked brushes, wax color pencils, crayons, charcoals, pastels, and markers. Digital tools which can simulate the effects of these are also used. The main techniques used in drawing are line drawing, hatching, cross-hatching, random hatching, scribbling, stippling, and blending. An artist who excels in drawing is referred to as a drafter, draftswoman, or draftsman. Drawing can be used to create art used in cultural industries, such as illustrations, comics, and animation. Comics are often called the ninth art, le neuvième art, in Francophone scholarship, adding to the traditional 7 arts. Painting. Painting is a mode of creative expression and can be done in numerous forms. drawing, gesture, as in gestural painting, composition, narration, as in narrative art, or abstraction, as in abstract art, among other aesthetic modes, may serve to manifest the expressive and conceptual intention of the practitioner. Paintings can be naturalistic and representational, as in a still life or landscape painting, photographic, abstract, narrative, symbolistic, as in symbolist art, emotive, as in expressionism, or political in nature, as in artivism. Modern painters have extended the practice considerably to include, for example, collage. Collage is not painting in the strict sense, since it includes other materials. Some modern painters incorporate different materials, such as sand, cement, straw, wood, or strands of hair for their artwork texture. Examples of this are the works of Jean Dubuffet or Anselm Kiefer. Photography. Photography as an art form refers to photographs that are created in accordance with the creative vision of the photographer. Art photography stands in contrast to photojournalism, which provides a visual account for news events, and commercial photography, the primary focus of which is to advertise products or services. Sculpture. Sculpture is the branch of the visual arts that operates in 3 dimensions. It is one of the plastic arts. Durable sculptural processes originally used carving, the removal of material, and modeling, the addition of material as clay, in stone, metal, ceramics, wood, and other materials. But since modernism, shifts in sculptural process led to an almost complete freedom of materials and process. A wide variety of materials may be worked by removal, such as carving, assembled by welding or modeling, or molded or cast. Literary arts. Literature is literally acquaintance with letters, as in the first sense given in the Oxford English Dictionary. The noun literature comes from the Latin word littera, meaning an individual written character, letter. The term has generally come to identify a collection of writings, which in Western culture are mainly prose, both fiction and non-fiction, drama and poetry. In much, if not all of the world, the artistic linguistic expression can be oral as well, and includes such genres as epic, legend, myth, ballad, other forms of oral poetry, and as folktale. Comics, the combination of drawings or other visual arts with narrating literature, are often called the ninth art, le neuvième art, in Francophone scholarship. Performing arts. Performing arts comprise dance, music, theater, opera, mime, and other art forms in which a human performance is the principal product. Performing arts are distinguished by this performance element, in contrast with disciplines such as visual and literary arts, where the product is an object that does not require a performance to be observed and experienced. Each discipline in the performing arts is temporal in nature, meaning the product is performed over a period of time. Products are broadly categorized as being either repeatable, for example, by script or score, or improvised for each performance. Artists who participate in these arts in front of an audience are called performers, including actors, magicians, comedians, dancers, musicians, and singers. Performing arts are also supported by the services of other artists or essential workers, such as songwriting and stagecraft. Performers often adapt their appearance with tools such as costume and stage makeup. Dance. Dance generally refers to human movement, either used as a form of expression or presented in a social, spiritual, or performance setting. Choreography is the art of making dances, and the person who does this is called a choreographer. Definitions of what constitutes dance are dependent on social, cultural, aesthetic, artistic, and moral constraints, and range from functional movement, such as folk dance, to codified virtuoso techniques, such as ballet. In sports, gymnastics, figure skating, and synchronized swimming are dance disciplines, while martial arts, kata, are often compared to dances. Music. Music is often defined as an art form whose medium is the combination of sounds. Though scholars agree that music generally consists of a few core elements, their exact definitions are debated. Commonly identified aspects include pitch, which governs melody and harmony, duration, including rhythm and tempo, intensity, including dynamics, and timbre. Though considered a cultural universal, definitions of music vary wildly throughout the world, as they are based on diverse views of nature, the supernatural, and humanity. Music is often differentiated into composition and performance, while musical improvisation may be regarded as an intermediary tradition. Music can be divided into genres and subgenres, although the dividing lines and relationships between music genres are often subtle, sometimes open to individual interpretation, and occasionally controversial. Theater. Theater or theater, from Greek, theatron, from theastai, behold, is the branch of the performing arts concerned with acting out stories in front of an audience using combinations of speech, gesture, music, dance, sound, and spectacle. Indeed, any one or more elements of the other performing arts. In addition to the standard narrative dialogue style, theater takes such forms as opera, ballet, mime, kabuki, classical Indian dance, Chinese opera, and mummers' plays. Multidisciplinary artistic works. Areas exist in which artistic works incorporate multiple artistic fields, such as film, opera, and performance art. While opera is often categorized in the performing arts of music, the word itself is Italian for works, because opera combines several artistic disciplines in a singular artistic experience. In a typical traditional opera, the entire work uses the following: the sets, visual arts, costumes, fashion, acting, dramatic performing arts, the libretto, or the words, story, literature, and singers and an orchestra, music. The composer Richard Wagner recognized the fusion of so many disciplines into a single work of opera, exemplified by his cycle Der Ring der Nibelungen, the Ring of the Nibelung. He did not use the term opera for his works, but instead Gesamtkunstwerk, synthesis of the arts, sometimes referred to as music drama in English, emphasizing the literary and theatrical components which were as important as the music. Classical ballet is another form which emerged in the 17th century, in which orchestral music is combined with dance. Other works in the late 19th, 20th, and 21st centuries have fused other disciplines in unique and creative ways, such as performance art. Performance art is a performance over time which combines any number of instruments, objects, and art within a predefined or less well-defined structure, some of which can be improvised. Performance art may be scripted, unscripted, random, or carefully organized. Even audience participation may occur. John Cage is regarded by many as a performance artist rather than a composer, although he preferred the latter term. He did not compose for traditional ensembles. Cage's composition Living Room Music, composed in 1940, is a quartet for unspecified instruments, really non-melodic objects, which can be found in a living room of a typical house, hence the title. Other arts. There is no clear line between art and culture. Cultural fields like gastronomy are sometimes considered as arts. Applied arts. The applied arts are the application of design and decoration to everyday, functional objects to make them aesthetically pleasing. The applied arts includes fields such as industrial design, illustration, and commercial art. The term applied art is used in distinction to the fine arts, where the latter is defined as arts that aims to produce objects which are beautiful or provide intellectual stimulation, but have no primary everyday function. In practice, the two often overlap. Video games. Video games, electronic games involving interaction using an input device such as a controller or keyboard, have a history that dates back to when the first video games were created as early as 1950. By the 1960s, arcade video games had emerged. In the following decades, games for both stationary and portable dedicated video game systems, personal computer games, and mobile games were introduced, each with varying market share in the video game industry. Video games are played in either single-player or multiplayer and have many unique genres, the most popular of which are action games and shooter games. Within the video game community, there is debate surrounding whether video games should be classified as an art form and whether game developers, AAA or indie, should be classified as artists. Hideo Kojima, a video game designer considered a gaming auteur, argued that video games are a type of service rather than an art form in 2006. In social sciences, cultural economists show how playing video games is conducive to involvement in more traditional art forms. In 2011, the National Endowment of the Arts included video games in its definition of a work of art, and the Smithsonian American Art Museum presented an exhibit titled The Art of the Video Game in 2012.